Hello, nerds! Thank you for joining me here on Nerd News Clips. This is the second channel. This is the place for all of the short-form content as well as the individual sections and just generally speaking smaller things. If you are into the longer form content, youtube.com/generallynerdy is the place to go see that. With that out of the way, let's get into this. Movies section. We have follow-ups, we have trailers, we have a little bit of everything, so let's do it. Follow-up for this episode in movies has to do with Enola Holmes 2. We know what's happening. We now know when it's going to be released, November 4th of this year, 2022. So we will be seeing Millie Bobby Brown do the little sister to Sherlock thing once again. Again, November 4th, 2022. Go check it out. And then we have one other follow-up, and that has to do with the Planet of the Apes. This has been one that we've been keeping minor tabs on for some time. They have recently cast Owen Teague as the lead for the new movie. And the new movie is reportedly going to be a quasi-soft reboot of the 1968 original, starring obviously Charlton Heston. Yeah, this sounds very interesting. There is going to be kind of a continuation of the Andy Serkis ones where he played Caesar. It's also, I don't know, it's got a lot of weight on its shoulders. We also know that the subtitle for this one is going to be The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It is going to be directed by Wes Ball, who's done a number of things, so I'm kind of interested to see where this one goes, but we've got headway going, so we'll be keeping tabs. That is what we have for follow-ups. We only have one trailer to speak of, the new Hunger Games movie, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I don't know that this does what it's supposed to for a trailer. Like, I'm not any more hyped to see this. I probably am not going to see this if you ask me right now, though. I mean, there is still some time before it launches, so maybe that will change, but not likely. I'm also not the target audience for this, so let me know if you are excited about the new Hunger Games movies, and if this one does well, presumably it too will spawn a series. So that is our one trailer. Let's get into the regular ass news, and that starts with Community. There is official word that a Community movie, the conclusion to the story from the TV series, presumably, is somewhere in the very, very early stages of production. What do I mean by very, very early is that it still might not happen. Series creator Dan Harmon has said that there is a script and there is still a lot of work to be done in order to make it happen, but things exist so that it can happen. And he is being as optimistic as saying it's not a matter of if, just a matter of when. And I don't think that's exactly accurate because you can't exactly bring back the same cast. Donald Glover is a very busy man, and so is the entire rest of the Alison Brie, the rest of the cast of Community. They're all very busy people. They're all relatively successful actors, so why wouldn't they? They're not waiting around to make this movie, so I feel like you gotta hit while the pan's hot, or however the phrase goes. So yeah, it exists. Will it see the light of day? There is a very slim chance at this point. Moving right along, we do have a sequel to a movie that came out a decade ago, I believe. Maybe even longer. Yeah, a little over a decade ago. R.I.P.D., the Ryan Reynolds, Jeff Bridges comic book-based movie, is getting a sequel. Yeah, no, you heard me right. They're making another R.I.P.D. movie. It's going to be live action. It's not, though, going to be bringing back Ryan Reynolds or Jeff Bridges. This is going to be called R.I.P.D. Rise of the Damned. The new cast is Richard Fleeshman, Jake Choi, Kerry, Knuppe, and Stephanie Levi-John. I don't know any of those names. It's not to say I don't know their faces, though. So interesting that 13 years later we're getting a sequel to a movie that did rather poorly. Perhaps this isn't exactly a sequel. Perhaps this is just using the same book as a point of reference and then kind of jumping off from there. So We'll only know when it launches. We're going to move on next. And continuing with this trend, we have another really old movie getting a weird sequel. So Ferris Bueller's Day Off is getting a sequel called Sam and Victor's Day Off. So who the hell are Sam and Victor, and what do they have to do with Ferris? They are the valets in the Ferris Bueller's Day Off movie that also drive the Ferrari for a moment in the movie. That's what this is going to be, is that it was a little murky as to the details if it was just going to be the story of them driving the Ferrari from the first movie, because if that's the case, it's going to be a very short movie, or if it's just those two characters who originally had no names in that movie, those two characters going on a separate day off kind of adventure seems a little bit more likely. But again, the way it's being worded in the media kind of could go either way. We'll see when it happens. This one is a This one is a continuation of a movie from 1986. So almost a 40-year-old movie. Wow. That makes me feel old. So, yeah, that's what we got for regular S News. Let's get to the suggestions. Movie suggestions for this week is, honestly, I was kind of struggling, and then my girlfriend put on a movie, and I went, oh my God, I can't believe I haven't suggested this one yet. Airheads, Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, Adam Sandler in, it's not the best movie. It's not going to change cinema for you, but it is a hell of a lot of fun, and it is super goofy. And if you kind of dig the 80s hair stuff as far as music goes, then you will absolutely love this. So yeah, Airheads is our suggestion for the week. Once again, this has been just a brief segment from the larger episode that has been posted over on the main channel, youtube.com/generallynerdy. Go over there for the long form content, or just subscribe here if you want it in bite-sized chunks. Thank you very much for joining me, nerds. We'll see you in the next one. Before we go though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.